Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons and Dummies, a weekly podcast following a group of friends as they battle across a homebrewed world called Antiriath in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Step into the mystical world of Antiriath and follow as our party of dummies adventure across the lands. Tolly Grug, half orc, half fighter, the Mystery, played by Taylor. The Eclarian Shadow, half elf ranger from the Eclarian Mountains, played by Seth. And a Learlock Bloodhair, a Harengon cleric, played by Joey. Last but not least, the creator of our beautiful world, the man of many voices, and our dungeon master, Sam. Oh, I saw a thing on Reddit. Did you know that the airport scanner thing can see you perfectly? It can see your dick, the wrinkles on your nutsack, your nipples. It can see
did you
everything.
I went to the airport when they first put them in, and if you looked back, it was right there, and you could just see yourself. It was wild. I was like, I cannot believe that they can just do that. And then less than 6 months later, it was just a little, basic image with a highlighted spot for them to check.
Yeah, I've only seen the basic image. They get
I've
a full picture.
I've seen my lumpy rolled body on the scanner. Been like, man, the clothes hide it, but the scanner.
No wonder they're so
all.
grumpy.
They make you self-conscious one bit.
Yeah, no, I think about it a lot.
GSA.
Man, why are they grumpy? I have always been fascinated by seeing everyone naked. I think everyone should be nude all the time.
No, you don't want that.
I believe him. I think he would have no problem with all the fat men and women, all the skinny people. It doesn't matter.
Let me rephrase. I don't want you to want that.
Well, I do want it. I can't do anything about it.
You're some kind of tribal man, I think.
I thought that was long established.
Yeah. So when I was raising my daughter, especially when she was very young, I would constantly ask myself, when presented with a scenario that just utterly terrified me, I'd be like, okay, for thousands and thousands of years, humans have managed to raise young. And I would think, what would a tribal society do in this scenario? If you were just, a tribe of 30 people or whatever, and this was occurring, what would you do? And it got me through so much to just think through that process.
So that explains why she's always swinging from vines and using clubs to hit the deer in your backyard and stuff.
Exactly, and hunting her own food, and
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and starting fires.
She brings rocks to sleep on. Yeah.
Okay, the rock thing, that part's actually not a joke. She collects rocks like there's no tomorrow.
I did that.
Yeah, I mean, I it's one of those things that she does that it only annoys me if it is when we're in a hurry or something, because I'm always like, yeah, no, that's a pretty cool rock. That's a good rock. Can't even be mad.
All right.
Is it time?
Let's get into it. It's time
for a Did that come through as slow-mo?
Yeah. Yes. I need a reminder of why all these bodies are around us. Bodies.
You're gonna have to take some points in Barbarian. Just claim you black out between every episode.
Hell yeah, brother.
How far back do you want me to start? Last session before?
I think just last session with
us
Busty.
A little summary.
So,
okay.
After we've gotten across the Velk of Odin, we approach the fortress where the stone giants, including the beautiful Busty Balvag, reside. Once there, we sense that there's an issue, and Balvag swings her axe out and almost takes Shadow's head off, but doesn't. They recognize each other. and she lets us know that the frost giants have wiped out the stone giants. They came in on a raiding party and just annihilated them. She's the only survivor of that stone giant clan, and she's unsure if any other stone giants are still alive. At that point, Bolvag joins the party momentarily as Shadow and Alirlock and Talak are heading to Shadow's family cabin in the mountains. And on their way, they get attacked by some light-bearing saber-tooths. What their actual ability, besides glowing vibrantly, is, I'm really not sure. But they're all dead now.
They're mostly just real bright. Real bright.
Yeah.
They were called solar saber-tooths.
Solar saber-tooths. Well, all the saber-tooths have been murdered.
Yeah, they didn't last long. Y'all tore through them pretty darn fast.
And as Bolvag smashes one of the remaining saber-tooths, the DM gave Shadow a poofed pants condition.
Your
Poofed.
verbal descriptions of admiration were already enough for anybody to imagine a poofed pants scenario.
I don't remember the poofed. It was poofed with an F?
Yes,
Yeah,
due to an erection.
Oh,
See, this is why we don't use subtext or subtlety.
gotcha.
Talking about penises.
Talk about a big old hard stiffy in his pants.
My God.
All right.
So, we are technically still during at the end of the 41st of harvest. And I'm having some concern.
With what?
Shadow is trying to remember the position of the moon the night before.
Oh, you know that it's not till the 48th.
That's right. I knew that Shadow knew that, but Seth had forgotten.
I had not updated my thing. So y'all got across the Belt of Odin, then y'all did an immediate rest. Then y'all did the Solar Sabers.
A shorty.
No, y'all did a long rest after the
Oh, that's right. We went over in the woods. Yeah.
Yeah, and luckily they did not find you. That would have been a real sad way to say goodbye to a party.
What? What?
If the Frost Giants had found you while you were trying to rest.
Ooh.
Excuse you. So we're going to be heading southeast back to Shadow's family's place from where we are right now.
So a little bit of a detour. Y'all are only 2 hexes away from the tower, but you're going to take a little detour to go see your adoptive parents.
Oh.
We'll be a day and a half away from the tower.
So yeah, same weather that it was before, which crap, did I record that?
Yeah, it was 55 degrees, sunny, and windy.
Oh, okay. So normal consumption rate, and y'all can move on that way. Y'all can still make a roll on the travel. However, before y'all start to head out, Bolvag will step up and say, in Giant,
Sten, it was so good to see you again, but I must be going.
Okay, we will see you back at your fort in 3 days.
she nods and just walks away to the west.
I look over at Shadow and I go, "So who's Sten?" I give him a little
And
smirk.
Shadow is gonna go, "When did you learn Giant?"
Fuck. Strike it from the record. I'm the editor, thankfully.
Record keeper. Oh no, you got to leave that in. Record keeper, let it show. All right. So you guys headed southeast. Y'all can go ahead and make a roll for moving into a new hex for provisions or perceptions or whatever you would like.
I rolled a 21 for survival.
Nice. Shadow's gonna
21,
roll
very nice.
perception.
Okay.
12.
What are you doing? Taylor.
I'm gonna go survival as well. That's my only good one. 15.
Okay, so first things first. Learlock and Talik, you'll both find enough rations for one person for 1 day, food and water. Then second, what was your roll, Shadow? 12?
12 for perception.
You find a old bubbling brook that you had found before, Shadow, or I guess you knew where it was. It grants enough water for 3 days worth of water, so you can spread that out or keep that yourself.
Yeah, 1 to each person.
Okay, so everybody increase your water by 1 as well, and then
Did any of y'all share any of y'all's rations?
they
We
each
only
just
found
found
enough for
1.
one.
Oh, okay.
So that's that. So y'all continue on. You're definitely in an area that's very familiar at this point, and so not too much trouble navigating down I said down, but it's just slightly down the mountainside, mostly moving across a little ridge. And as you start to round a corner, you hear the sound of wood being chopped at a slow and steady pace, just like. You also smell smoke of a wood burning fire with a hint of spices on it as you near the sound. And as you round the corner, you see a small little log cottage, and next to it, a tall, strong male figure chopping wood. His hair is gray, perhaps through age, although the elven nature of the man's face makes that seem like a unlikely reason for his silvered hair. As you guys approach, the man steps forward to greet you and walks right up to Shadow, and he reaches out a arm to you, Shadow.
Shadow returns.
And he
Reciprocates.
grips it in a strong grip and then pulls you in for like a side hug, handshake sort of thing. Leans back and kind of puts both hands on your shoulders and looks you up and down. He says, "It's so good to see you, Sten." And he smiles. He says, "You look good. Marley's inside, making some stew. You better go on in there."
Hey, these guys, don't shoot them. And Shadow walks inside.
What is this guy and what language is he speaking?
He is a full elf, but he was speaking common, and he just nods towards the door and he heads back over towards his firewood and starts chopping again.
I'll kind of like lean over and whisper to a Learlock and be like, "Who is this guy? He called him Sten? Who is this?"
Sten.
Yeah, I thought he was Shadow. I've never heard
That's what
Sten.
I thought. Guess we'll find out more inside, eh?
Shadow gets to the door and goes, "Ma!" And he busts in the door.
You hear a scuttle from inside before you even get in, and a sound of like a pewter cup hitting the floor, and just like a. She's like, "Oh shoot!" And she says, "Sten, is that really you? Oh, Seldarin be praised! Come on in and warm yourself. You look good. Of course, that's no surprise." And then as the other of you guys come stepping in through the door behind him, she looks at Learlock, looks at Talik, and she says, "Well, now this on the other hand is quite a surprise. Seems you made some friends."
Shadow immediately kicks his boots off and plops down right by the fire.
She goes over and picks up the cup that she had knocked down and wipes it up. She says, "Y'all make yourselves at home. We don't have much, but what we have is plenty to share. I just put on a hot pot of stew. Should be done here shortly."
Talik's just standing in the doorway thinking like, I've been traveling with this dude for months now, and I just am making this super confused face, and I just go, "Where are we? What's going on?"
About that time, the man comes in from behind. He knocks the snow off of his boots and takes them off. He says, "Y'all take your boots off at the door. No reason to track in snow."
Shadow's just like, come in.
He goes to shake your hand, Talik. He says, "Sorry, just needed to wrap up there. Should have introduced myself. My name's Elark Woodelvin. This is my wife, Marley." Marley says, "Oh, hello. It's so nice to meet you."
Nice to meet y'all.
Drop some art in the Discord. Give you a little more description on these guys. I mean, he's got like wrinkles and stuff like you'd expect an old human man to have, but when you look into his eyes, he has this just incredibly keen eyes to him, and he's got this full head of white silver hair, elvish pointy ears and stuff, but he's dressed in a like mountain man's garb. He's got thick heavy wool clothes on. He leans his cutting axe up against the door as he walks in, and then the woman is wearing just a plain person outfit, for lack of a better word. She's got her hair tied up in a loose messy bun. It's also gray haired, and she seems a lot older than either Stin or the man because she is a full human.
And what was his first name again?
Name's Elark. Ehlark. He turns to Shadow. He says, "So, Stin, you got a lot of stories to tell, I'm hoping."
Yeah, you could say that. We're not gonna have time to tell them all tonight, though. We have to head out at first light. You know those bright light saber-tooths and all the other weird critters I'm sure you've seen with things that are not natural going on?
He nods his head. He says, I was hoping it might be a more friendly visit, but I had a feeling it might have something to do with that."
Well, you know I can't abide somebody running around the world, fucking up nature and all the animals. We already took down one psychopath druid. I never thought I'd...
Marley slaps your hand. She says, "Language!"
I'm sorry, Ma. We already dealt with the druid down south. I never thought I'd have to raise my glaive towards the druid, but he was a part of the problem. And now there's something else going on up here in the north.
The man strokes his beard. He says, "More to it than just the animals as well. The frost giants, they've been moving, organizing."
Yeah, about that. Probably keep our eyes out tonight.
He smirks. He says, "Same old Stin. Always biting off more than he could chew."
Holy crap! I totally forgot. Talik, Learlock, this is my mom and dad. Mom, Dad, these are my friends.
Hello. And I just do an awkward wave. You've never mentioned these guys. I didn't know you had parents. No offense. Elark, Marley.
Stin's not much for talking. Never was a big talker, except for when he's with people he's comfortable with. Speaking of, it's good to see y'all. There aren't very many people that he has been comfortable with, especially not to bring all the way home. She walks over and kind of takes your hand and shakes it a little bit. She says, "Here." And she pours a hot cup of tea for both of you and hands it to you.
I chug it down really quick and then try and sneak the decanter of endless wine out of my bag and pour that into the cup.
Does Shadow notice?
You'll have to roll a deception and perception check. I don't know.
Okay, perception.
Yeah,
Okay.
Talik, you'll have to roll either a sleight of hand or a deception. Either one.
I'll go
Man.
sleight of hand +3. Oh, 6.
Oh, I rolled
You're so clumsy.
I'm just gonna
Easy
sit here
to
with my
spot.
passive 22 perception and watch everything happen.
Shadow's gonna be like, Talik, pull that all the way out. Dad, you gotta check out this thing he's got over there.
Oh, I didn't know what kind of place this was. Sorry, guys. Hey, anybody want some? And I speak the word, not geyser, the regular gallon or whatever it was.
The man steps over. He's like, "Whoa!" And he grabs like a bucket, like a pot, and flips it over and comes and puts it under it. He's like, "Oh, smells pretty good."
Yeah, drink up.
He
This thing
ladles a
never
little
runs
out,
out.
takes a sip. Yeah, not bad for magical bottle. But I think I've got a vintage over here that's a little more refined. He goes and he starts rummaging through some dusty old bottles in the back of the cupboard.
Dang, you should have mentioned these guys before. And I walk over with Elark and give him a pat on the back. Walk
Yeah,
over with them.
he starts showing you different bottles, telling you the vintages on them and stuff.
Yeah, well, what's the ABV though? That's what's really important when you're choosing wine.
He says, I got some dwarven stuff back here. Let me see.
Yeah, bust out the good stuff, pops.
About what we're after. We have to go to the tower.
The dad kind of stops for a second, then pulls the cork on the wine, starts pouring, and says, Rising Sun Tower?
Well, yes.
Why you gotta go there?
Well, that's where we found the last druid and a talking monkey and a bunch of weird stuff going on. The whatever Moonrise Tower, whatever the tower down south is.
Yeah, we've been working with the Confluence Guild in Billy Talk. I don't know if you knew that. And they sent us up here for a lead on this stuff that Shadow or Sten was telling you about, these creatures.
Shadow shoots Talik a look like, watch it, buddy.
The mom's just kind of like wringing her hands a little bit. She says, well, Elark, if you're not going to tell them, they need to know. So Elark was out looking around, doing a little scouting, and he's pretty sure that Hishanag is taking up residence at the tower.
Who?
One more time.
Why is he
The white
at the
dragon.
tower? Why is she
She
there?
looks back at Alirlock and Talik too, and she says, the adult white dragon that's been fairly dormant on these mountains for many years, only waking up every decade or so to feed and then going back to sleep.
Dragon?
Yeah, we saw her on the way in.
Yeah, that's right. Off in the distance.
So she's in the tower, huh?
Elark says, which way was she headed?
She was headed north.
The tower is big enough for her to fit into? Like, it's a legitimate tower.
The reason I wasn't going to mention it, Marley, is because I haven't actually spotted Hishanag in the tower. But all of her flight patterns make it appear that that's where she keeps going to and from. And she's been very active.
Shadow looks at Talik and says, what if she's not living in the tower? What if she's been corrupted?
Yeah, I was just wondering what would a dragon have to do with this whole thing? I mean, it doesn't quite add up.
She's no different than any other creature, is she? I mean, she's a dragon, sure, but so far we've seen the corruption can touch anything from the lowly rats to the mighty frost giants.
You think whoever we're up against is powerful enough to corrupt a dragon, an adult dragon?
I don't know. I'm just glad that squirrel's not going to be there.
Elark's like, just like raises her brow. He's like, you've killed millions of squirrels. Like, what are you talking about?
And then Shadow goes into a full monologue about the psychic squirrel and how he set it free in the poacher's camp and it freaked out and it hurt their heads and didn't hurt Talik's head and they don't know why. And then they fought the druid. When they're fighting the druid, the squirrel showed up and Shadow was mad at the squirrel, so Shadow shot the squirrel.
Elark finishes his cup of wine. He's just like, I knew you'd have some good stories, and he pours a little more in his cup, offers you some, Talik. He looks over at you, Alirlock, kind of rattles the bottle back and forth, eyebrows you.
I'm still slowly sipping on this tea.
Man, it's gotta feel so good to have a hot cup of tea in your hands when y'all have been like on the road in the mountains for days. Now you're in a cabin, protected from the wind.
Shadow kind of perks his ears up and listens outside for any commotion.
Okay, maybe a perception check.
10.
Everything's all quiet, just the occasional whisper of wind.
And then Shadow focuses intently and uses his primeval awareness.
Okay, that's 6 miles, and basically anything that's even remotely weird, undeads, fiends, dragons,
Celestials,
aberrations.
elementals, fae. Yeah.
Y'all haven't had any run-ins with these creatures? I mean, nothing's threatened you guys up here. Seems like you're kind of all alone up here. You're not worried?
You don't pick anything up, Shadow, with your primeval awareness of any kind. Marley looks over you, says, "We've been up here alone for a long time. Some creatures with some ailments and illnesses is nothing more scary than a regular creature. There's all kinds of monsters in the world anyways. I'd rather run into a beast that's just having a bad day than a monster that doesn't know any better, that just likes killing."
You teach this guy how to use a bow? Hellark?
Elark smiles, leans back, says, "Learned everything he knows from me."
Shadow just kind of guffaws.
He says, "Unless that is, he's been missing a whole bunch. That's all on him."
He mostly hits.
Roasted.
Shadow whips out Dregbin and says, "Check this out."
"Ain't that a beaut? Mind if I?" He looks the bow up and down, kind of pulls on the string a little bit. It's like, strong draw weight. Strong enough it might even be able to take out a dragon. He hands it back to you.
Well, one way or the other, dead or alive, I'm going to that tower.
What all can y'all tell us about this dragon? Is it it's white, we saw it, we know that. Is it evil? Is it just come out and eat and go back, or what's up with her?
Yeah, she's been on the mountain for a long time. Lair's somewhere in the mountains, but never been able to locate it. My theory is she freezes the entrance whenever she goes into slumber so nobody can find it. Like we were saying, comes out every decade or so and feeds and does a little pillaging down in the lowlands, but always comes back and goes to ground shortly after. This time's different though. She's been moving about for a few weeks now.
I don't like the sound of that.
It's good to see you both. We really need to rest because we've absolutely got to get a move on in the morning. Hoping that we can make it to the tower within a day and a half and then deal with whatever's there and then try to get back and figure out what's befallen Bolvag and the rest of the stone giants. They wiped out her whole clan except for her up the hill a ways.
Marla says, "Oh, Stan, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is she all right?"
I mean, she's okay. I think she's probably brokenhearted, but she doesn't have a scratch on her. You should have seen the way she tossed those saber-tooths around.
All right, now I don't need to hear about any violence you two doing.
Oh.
She says, "Well, of course, y'all are welcome to rest here. We'll lay you out some nice cots." She goes and gets a bunch of really warm, thick blankets, gets everything set up. You know, obviously, y'all don't have to reduce your rations today because y'all will be dining at the Wood Elven house.
All right.
And so, yeah, y'all are welcome to take a long rest if you would like.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you'll wake up the next morning to the smell of bacon if you're trying to sleep in at all. Hear the sizzle and the smell, and another pot of tea on the brew.
All right.
As y'all are looking around, you see a painting on the wall of a young, red-haired woman, and at first it's kind of hard to see who it is, but then you realize that it's a portrait of Marley from a long time ago, and she's, obviously a much more beautiful gal.
She fine.
Yeah.
Talik's standing there, and he goes, "Who's this?"
Shadow just shakes his head.
So, Shadow, how come you never mentioned these guys? When you grew up here?
They brought me here when I was a babe and raised me.
Oh, okay.
But why would I have ever talked about them to you?
I figured it would have come up. I've talked about my folks.
I don't know. I just hadn't thought about it, I guess.
He's got a point. You know, I've said a little bit about my own family.
You did?
Yeah.
Is that Seth being aghast or Shadow?
Shadow. Shadow's just gonna be like, I don't know. I mean, what do you want to know? I was born a prince. My uncle killed my mother and father the night I was born. I wound up here. Elark and Marley became my mother and father and have raised me as a wood elven ever since.
Stin Wood Elven. I like that. I give you a little pat on the back and wink.
4 beings on this plane call me by that name, and you are not one of them.
Hey, I thought we were buddies.
We are. You can call me Shadow.
All right. Stin. Oh, man, it smells good in here. This isn't some kind of corrupted bacon, is it? I'm like looking at it.
The bacon sparks with electricity as she's frying it.
Zesty.
Zesty bacon. It's like some sort of poison pig. Oh no, it looks like normal bacon.
We did see stink pigs. Remember?
Dude, oh
we
my
saved
gosh!
them
At
from
the
the bandit
very
camp.
first, yeah, the same bandit camp with the squirrel.
Stink pigs.
Stink pigs. You never murdered a stink pig.
I'm not to murder anything ever. We
Well,
kill things in self-defense.
okay.
Talik's childhood girlfriend. That's what she called Talik as a pet name.
I thought her name was gonna be Stink Pig.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Stink Pig Grug.
Oh, Grug, is he incestual?
Yeah, well, you know, we
I
got
guess it's a
orcs
big tribe.
Orcs are very clan oriented, you know.
Yeah,
Can't go outside the clan, so yeah. What happens
Oh my
inside
God.
the clan stays inside the clan.
It's like his second cousin. It's like no. She was my second cousin.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Third or fourth.
Shadow just looks at Talik, does the rest of his breakfast in his mouth, and says, "Come on, Pa, I gotta show you this horse."
We could retcon that y'all wouldn't have just left your horses saddled standing out in the snow last night.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, he would be very intrigued to see your lightning horse.
And mine.
So Shadow takes him outside. It's like, Talik's horse does some stuff too, but watch mine. And I hop on it and kiss Starlight around a little bit and see some crackle in his mane and tail.
Delectable.
While he's doing that, I'm inside with Mom, and I'm like, you know, I don't have a mom anymore. I'm all alone. I'm looking around at how nice and cozy the cabin is.
Your ring just barks out.
Y'all adopted him, huh? How'd that work out? Had to go through a lot of paperwork and whatnot?
I don't know. Just one day, somebody showed up with a babe in need.
Oh, kind of like how I showed up here last night. Interesting. Just something to think about.
She just kind of nods her head and hands you a piece of bacon.
Talik is only 19, just for the record, so he's a little immature.
Yeah, well, and he wants an adoptive family that
This is
has
nice.
a cozy little home.
It's nice. Yeah, this is nice.
Very small, very smells of furs. Definitely has that fur smell.
Reminds me of home.
Oh, I'm so happy I can make you feel at home. If ever y'all are in town, you're welcome to visit anytime.
Well, it's a little different, because in my back home, we'd put the fire just on the floor there in the middle of that room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we wouldn't have
Yeah.
any furniture or whatever. Just put a few rocks around. Those
Oh,
roof
right.
probably may not be here.
Oh,
No,
okay.
yeah, but it's pretty
A little
close. It's
similar
nice
though.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh,
It's pretty nice.
lovely. Well,
It's fine.
it sounds lovely. I'm sure your mother made it very homey.
Yeah, she did. She did, and I put my hand over the ring and wink. Really
Aw.
cozy.
I don't know if that was like a slight or not. Now I'm confused. I thought it was a sweet gesture, but now I'm lost.
It's listener interpretation.
Okay. Are we done here? I feel like we're done here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Back to adventuring.
Let's go. We got a tower to get to.
Shadow has already saddled all the horses when y'all come out, and he steps back in and he says, "Love you, Ma. Be safe. Don't
She says,
let."
"Oh, get over here." She scuttles over to you and grabs you in a hug, gives you a cheek kiss.
She's a
She's a-
scuttling woman.
Oh, she's a
crab.
scuttler.
What
Well,
the
you caught her
fuck?
off guard, so she still had her apron on and her hands were wet, so she had to like clean that up as she was scuttling across the room. So
Scuttling
Yeah.
again.
she's a
Scuttling
scuttler.
twice. She's a
Yeah.
scuttler.
And then the ship that was out back, the destroyer class submarine sinks,
Scuttled.
totally scuttled.
So, see ya, Ma. I'll try not to die this time either, but hopefully I
Wait, you
get to see you
didn't die,
again.
did you?
And then
She looks at Learlock
then-
and she's like, "Did he die? Did you revive him?"
No, I'm not dead yet. And then he looks deep into her eyes because he knows that her years are far shorter than his and his father's. And he says, "I love you, and I will see you again."
Little tear forms in the corner of her eye. She says, "I know you will." She just kind of turns around so she doesn't get too emotional.
Shadow goes out. He looks over and he nods at Elark and he hops on Starlight and rides west. Or north, really. North by northwest.
Thank you guys. Nice to meet you. As I ride away.
You too. Y'all take care of each other. Marley walks out, puts a hand on Alark's shoulder. Just says, "I always knew he was gay."
Oh, it's canon.
Oh my god.
That was perfect.
That's not canon. But that
It's
was really
canon.
good. I couldn't resist. Oh man.
We'd love him all the same. Talik might even make a move on him one day.
Oh god. If anyone is buying this group, it's Talik. He's made multiple comments to
Yeah.
several males throughout this campaign.
Hey, a hole's a hole in Megzim.
What the fuck? I think we lost Seth somewhere.
Unfortunate.
Oh man. All right.
Find out what happens to our party next week. Check us out at dndndummies.com. And please leave us a rating and a review on your podcast app. It would mean the world to us.
What am I looking at here? What kind of sandwich is this?
It is a like
chicken parm.
grilled chicken sandwich with Swiss and honey mustard. It was divine.
Simple and elegant.
Mm-hmm. Couple pickles hiding underneath the booby.
I'm sorry? The what?
There's a couple pickles hiding underneath the booby.
What was the last thing?
The
Booby?
booby. I ate a boob for dinner. I don't know if you're aware of that
He's
or not.
calling the bun a boob.
No,
The breast.
chicken breast is a boob. It's literally a boob. Tis a breast. I mean, it's not
Okay.
literally a boob because I don't think there's any mammary glands in it because it's a chicken and they don't like have mammary
You
glands.
see, all
that's a good point.
boobies are breasts,
Matter.
but not all breasts are boobies.
You know what? You're
All boobies
probably
matter.
right.
All biscuits are rolls, but not all rolls are biscuits.
Whoa, I've never worried about that one.
Yes, you've heard it.
What? No. All biscuits are
Seth
rolls, but
said
not all
it like
rolls are
within the
biscuits?
last year.
The first time I said it was at least 15 years ago when I incensed them by calling the Red Lobster cheese biscuits rolls.
Oh, oh.
God, I love those.
Oh man, they are quite delish.